Whoops. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's on my head here? Oh, I got a pimple. Wow. Aren't I too old for that? Do old people still get I aren't I too old for a pimple? Oh, I actually got it. That's new. Welcome to the viewers in the live chat and whoever's watching after. I guess I'm still young if I get a pimple. The evil brother's back. Yeah, I know. I can't wait for my mustache to grow back. This is bad, man. I look like a 5-year-old and a 20. I look like a 5-year-old, but also a 50-year-old at the same time. It's not. I don't know why I did it. I actually look really bad, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, no more distractions. Welcome to the live stream, whether you're watching after or live. We got Thomas Ape, Richard Desmond, Derek, Slapback. Shave your beard? Never. I can't. For me, shaving my beard is the equivalent of shaving your head. Like, I don't want to be seen. This is bad enough. I don't know why I did it. I look like a different person to me. I went from like a 5 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10, but I'm not doing anything right now, so I don't mind being a 2 out of 10, but it's not good. And I feel very feminine saying that, but it's true. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit feminine. But yeah, I'll be all right in like a week. I just need like something to come back. Like you could see it's kind of coming back already. And for some reason my lips are extra red. Yeah, this is cringe. Okay, anyway, the Crypto Cringe Show, welcome. You always looked young for your age. I still think you're in your early 30s. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Anyway, no more sidetracked. So where do we begin? I mean, where do we begin? I'm looking at the semiconductors and I'm actually saying to myself, is the bull run just getting started? I mean, seriously, we got to have an honest discussion here. Are we just on the tip of the semiconductor bull run, or is that signs of a top? When people like me start saying, oh my, I'm gonna miss the train. I'm actually looking and I'm like, what the hell, man? SOXL is up 1800% from the day we talked about it. And then I say that out loud and I'm like, yeah, the bull run's just starting after it's up 1800%. Oh man, this one did 2000%. I guess now that I say it out loud, I guess we're near the top, right? Something that's up 1800%. Yeah. I'm looking at MU and I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but it just keeps going. Are we really are we just scratching the surface? Even remember this stock we talked about, QCOM? Is this thing about to pull an Intel? It's been the same price here since 2021. Now, speaking of Intel, it's going. It's at not even at 500, it's at 550 billion. Is this thing going to 3 trillion? Let me ask you this for all the gamers or the computer people, the tech people, not the gamers. Why is Intel at 500 billion and Nvidia is at 5 trillion? Don't you think there's a little bit of a gap that needs to be closed? Is that what the market's about to do? The market's about to close the 20-year gap? Because every computer I ever see says powered by Intel or powered by AMD. It doesn't say powered by Nvidia. So is the market finally waking up, saying Intel's king? I mean, look at this chart. Intel divided by Nvidia. Boom, 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 boom. MU is all memory. Is it? AMD just hit big. Oh man, 372. We've been wanting to go down since we went down from 120 9 months ago. Still waiting to go down. What do you mean? Bitcoin's been going down for 4 months, my friend. So who else makes computer chips besides AMD and Intel? Nobody? You know why I feel like this is still fake? Because Facebook is still bearish. And you can't have a bull market without Facebook. So I'm thinking the computer chips is what's holding up the market. And that's why the Dow Jones isn't making a new high yet. I don't know if the Dow Jones actually let me fact check that before I say something. Could you imagine MU is in the Dow too? Yo, if it is. Wait. Think. What was that website that I use? Here it is. Okay, MU is not in the Dow Jones, but Nvidia is. Yeah, so no matter where you go, you can't escape the tech. You got Microsoft, Visa, Apple, Amazon, IBM. Wait, I thought, isn't IBM a tech stock? Yeah, I remember when IBM rebranded for blockchain. Didn't they want to make a blockchain for... Wait, what about Dell? Oh man, this thing's still alive? When I think of Dell, I think of 2002. Dell. Oh, this thing just came out in 2020. What about HP? Uh, it doesn't exist. Broadcom makes chips. Yeah, Avgo. They're at 2 trillion whole. Wait, I've never even heard of this. So you're telling me that this thing did a 10x even though every computer I've ever owned is run by Intel and Intel is just now going up? Yo, that guy really called the bottom, man. Oh my God. You know the thing is too, I had something like this drawn because I said to myself, I think people are gonna realize that Intel is underrated, but I had it going down one more time. I didn't think this was the bottom, you know? But like I say all the time now, I look at this chart and then I think about Ethereum and I say, well, are these charts not similar? Where it's kind of done nothing for 5 years. It's going to be, by the end of this year, Ethereum would have done nothing for 5 years. That's like what Intel just did. It did nothing for 20 years. But we know crypto is like accelerated time. So 5 years in crypto is like 20 years in real life. So I wonder, I really think about it. Like, what if we finish this bear market and then Ethereum does just launch out of here? You know? Do we give this a probable outcome or Ethereum's a stable coin? TSM makes chips. I don't understand. You guys have been telling me TSM. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, this thing's on a nice run too. Yeah, but you know what else I've been looking at? I was on my stock, I don't know what you would call it, program, my stock program. Dude, I really feel old now. What kind of program you're running on there, son? My stock program, and because it's not a website, it's a desktop application. I don't even know how I found this stock, but this thing is up 50x from the low. Oh, it was up 70x from the low in 2023. This is another AI data processing service. So it's like, doesn't this look like Mara? Like, are these Bitcoin companies or are they computer companies? This is the same exact chart. It's like Mara is right here. Is it not? I don't own any of them, so I'm not trying to be biased, but don't they look the same? So is Mara about to pull one of these? And then I look at Hut. Remember Hut? They were a Bitcoin company. It's the same chart. It's like everything's about to just go. Cyber Kurd, welcome to BTC Whale. I appreciate that, man. That is awesome. I appreciate that. You're falling behind. I appreciate that, Bansbeal. But you know what? You know what? I fall behind. But you show up every day, don't you? Don't you wish you were not me? You show up every day to remind me, don't you? It won't go to 100K. Cyber Kurd, I appreciate the sub. My membership gets canceled every 3 to 4 months. Well, that is potentially, isn't that impossible? Because that membership is for people that have 2 months. Therefore, I don't think you're able to get more than that. Is it consecutive months? I think it's just months accumulated. But I appreciate the sub, man. Lolo for 3. I appreciate the 3, man. That is awesome. I appreciate. Oh, it's actually $4. I can't tell. I don't know if they counted his sub as a revenue. So Mara is Berto the Frog for 8 months. Appreciate the sub. Shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. I appreciate that. So Mara is now pivoting to AI too. Are they dumping their Bitcoin holdings? Man, I can't believe all of these stocks are now just turning, they're just jumping on the bandwagon. This thing's only 8 billion. It could do a 10x from here. But that means from the bottom it's going to do a 100, 1000, 100x. So like genuine question to the people in the back, are we just on the cusp of this AI bubble or is it near the end? Because the semiconductor ETF is up 20x from the low in March. But then on the same time, it did just have a bear market. That's why I'm thinking to myself, what if this thing does just start going? Like, if you look at it from this perspective, it just broke out this month. It just broke a 4-year trend. And the thing that's scary is all of these tech stocks, they keep making their way into the indices, the major indices, like Nvidia's in the Dow. Pretty soon, the Dow is going to be MU, AMD. It's the whole world is running on this stuff. The AMD revenue is insane. So we're just getting started. Yeah, but then why is Nvidia not moving? Nvidia's at 5 trillion. I think Nvidia, you know what I was thinking about today? What if Nvidia is Bitcoin and then everything else is like the shit coins? Like MU is Ethereum or AMD is Ethereum, Intel is Solana, and these other doo-doo coins, like, you know? Like, what if Nvidia set the tone and now everything else has to catch up? Yeah, I look at this too. MCHP, it looks like it's about, but all of these stocks have been out since the 90s. Lolo, welcome to Moonboy. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. I made a vid. Oh, wait, Berto gifted 5 subs? I didn't even see that. I appreciate that too, man. I appreciate that. I didn't see that. I was rambling. Thank you, man. Hopefully it makes my mustache grow back faster. I appreciate that. I appreciate the subs. Yeah, I actually make membership videos now, so at least you get something out of it. But for those of you that don't care about the semiconductors, I understand. It's just there's a lot of FOMO in the air. But the reality is, the reason why it's tied to Bitcoin is because I think that's what's keeping the stock market up. And we know when the stock market goes up, people do get exceptionally bullish on Bitcoin. But you do have to remember that in 2 out of the 4 bear markets, the S&P was bullish when Bitcoin was bearish. Now for the Bitcoin and now for the crypto people, I got a big question for you. So I've been trying to do some research on BMNR, and it looks like they're trying to be MSTR for Ethereum. But my question is, did they used to own Bitcoin? Because their logo is Bitcoin and their stock is called Bitmine, and I feel like I've heard of them. And they were bullish in 2019. So were they a part of the crypto bubble, or is it just a coincidence? Because I'm thinking to myself, if we are about to go down to the bottom in the next 5 months and this thing goes below $12, I kind of like it. Like a run back to the high is a 10x. Did they used to own Bitcoin, or did they always do Ethereum? Berto the Frog for 5. I appreciate the 5, man. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Bullish on Soul. I appreciate the 5. Yeah, you know what else too? I was looking for Solana treasuries. I think there is one. It's called Forward. Like the crypto stocks actually do better than the, well, I don't want to say that much, but the crypto stocks almost sometimes do better than the actual cryptos. Like this thing did a 10x scam pump out of nowhere. And you know how I know that's true? Because Grayscale also had a Solana fund. And this it's an ETF now. It wasn't always an ETF. Look, it went from $4 to $100. SpongeBob. Oh, it's been so long since I've done that. SpongeBob. This thing went from $4 to $100 in 1 year. So it's almost like the crypto stocks do better than the actual cryptos. But the problem is there's a lot of stocks, so we don't know which one is going to go. And then you have Bitcoin Cash on Grayscale. Again, it did a 67x. So it's very tricky. But I was looking at Solana. Yeah, so I was looking for Solana treasuries, but you're bullish on Sol. I think we're very bullish right now, but I think once July passes, it'll turn bearish. That's my opinion. That's what I'm preparing for. I really think after July or August, it's going to be bearish again. So I would be shocked if Solana didn't pump. But I think because it's not, it is telling us that we're not really that, like we're bullish, but it's not like bullish. Like it's snowing, but the snow isn't sticking. It's like the snow that's nice to walk in, but it's not the snow that you have to shovel. That's a good analogy that I'm going to use. Like we're bullish, but it's only Bitcoin really, you know? At least right now. I have to imagine if we stay bullish like this, everything else should catch up. But even Coinbase is what I want to talk about next, but Solana specifically, I would be surprised if it didn't spike, but I think there's a chance that Solana does come back to this level. I do think personally we're missing one final move down. Now, I have been watching, not necessarily watching other YouTubers, but I just Googled or I YouTubed the word Bitcoin and I just click on whoever pops up. George pops up, Ben Cowan pops up, and the people in the comments are starting to be a little bit not nice to the bears, which is a sign of confidence and euphoria. Which again, that doesn't mean that the top is in, but usually when everyone leans to one side, it's not the best sign. Which people are still bearish, but now the bulls are really starting to get confident. So just sharing that doesn't mean the top is in, because even I'm not realizing, but like I'm starting to anticipate like we might not actually go down until the summer, which is why I stopped calling for a crash back in April. I remember the day we were at 68K and I said I'd rather turn bullish now than at 78K. So, but the comments are not my comments, but like just comments in general, they're starting to get a little bit bullish. So it doesn't mean the top is in, but just be careful, that's all. But it is bullish, the stock. And everyone always asks me, why do I use the stock RSI instead? This is a perfect example. Because even though we were still down at 68K, the stock RSI was overbought. which means it's gonna move higher, and that's what happened. That's why I like the stock RSI. But at the same time, like at some point, it has to go back down again, and it looks like it's setting up for the summer, and it looks like the summer here is where we turned bearish last year, and my heart can't take the fact that it's already going to be summer again. Like, time is just moving so quickly, which is why I don't feel any FOMO, because I know like I'm going to blink and it's going to be October. I just blinked and it was just Christmas. Now it's about to be Memorial Day. Then it's going to be the 4th of July. Then it's going to be Halloween. And then it's going to be Christmas again. So I don't have the same emotion that I used to, which is, I guess that's not good. You know, I used to hate that it was a bear market. I was like, oh, I have to wait a whole year. Now it's like, if you have to wait 1 year, I'm just like, thank God I only have to wait 1 year. In the past, it's like, I don't want to wait 1 year. So it is going to be July again. And you can see, not that this has anything to do with July, it just happened to be July, but when this stock RSI gets stuck, the momentum pretty much dies. Now, you can see when we were super bullish, we didn't stop. So I guess if we just keep going into the summer, then maybe it is a bull market, super cycle. But we're bullish now for sure. Even here, you can see we hit overbought and then we just stopped. So I think at the other side, you'd also have to say, if the 10-day stock RSI goes back to oversold and we don't go down, then we're probably, then we're in a super cycle. But by then, it will already be September, October. So if it's January and we're still at 90,000, it's like, okay, whatever we just sat through, you'll never see again. But that's why I don't feel any FOMO, because this has to come down at some point. Even if it's a bull market, it comes down. And when it comes down, that's when I'll buy in. I'm not going to buy in when it's overbought like this. That doesn't mean it's not bullish. Then but this is the thing, the people in the chat, not necessarily you guys, think this is what's coming. Oh, if you don't buy in now, you're going to miss it. Like that only happened one time. That only happened one time. Even here, you can see you had a bunch of consolidation. You consolidated from November to January. This was the only time it just teleported to the upside. So we'll see how high it goes. I'm not standing in the way of this, but at some point it has to come down. And I think when it comes down, that should be where the bottom is. But I'll continue to say, man, even if you want to call me Mr. Bear, you got to respect how bullish it is, because I'm looking at the stock market and I'm just like, I'm not even questioning it at this point. It's like, dude, this shit just doesn't stop going. So, but then I also asked in the back of my head, are other stocks going up, or is it just the semiconductors? And then we said that yesterday, and I looked at Google, and then I realized that Google is a chip. It's not a chip company, but it's Google. Like, AI is Google. Their freaking abbreviation is literally AI. Alphabet Inc. So I don't know if this is obviously it's a real bull market, but I don't know if it's just driven from the semiconductors or if everything else is going up. I don't know what other stocks to look at. Everything in the indexes is semiconductors. Like, it's McDonald's doesn't make AI, right? The McDonald's burger. Yeah, look at McDonald's. They make an AI too? The AI burger. Boeing is down. J&G, don't they have didn't they get sued for baby powder? Or am I living in the 30s? Oh, we're almost in the 30s. Holy crap. Yeah, J&G just went to the moon. Are they making AI? It's kind of over for me if we don't go back down. Nah, you'll be fine, man. Trust me. I can't repeat what CyberKurt said. Fireman for 53 months, dude. I can't believe it on YouTube for 5 years. My water's empty. Fireman for 53 months. I appreciate that, man. I'm back. What's up, bruv? I hope you're doing well, man. Welcome back. Thank you for the sub. Yeah, and the reason why I streamed late today, not to discount your sub, I appreciate the sub, but you've been here for 53 months, which is a very long time. And I thought about it today as I went on my walk, and that's why I was late today, because I walked 6 miles. I walked further than I thought. Not that that's that long, but it's a long walk. It's 2 hours. So, I realized, like, man, there really are highs and lows, and we're just in a low time right now. But there's going to be a high time again where there's 2,000 people in here, but we know that's it. Got to get out. And the reality is, like, every time we do get a cycle peak, technically I do end up in a better position. I just blow it. So, well, this one was here. I can't blow it next time. So there's highs and lows, and I want to say I appreciate you guys giving me at least a chance. Right? Some people don't even get a chance. I had multiple chances. I just keep blowing them. But maybe next time. Nah, I'm gonna convert on this one. Because I've let go of that need to be rich. I finally let go of it. Like some people say it's gonna come back. Maybe it does. But this is the first time I don't feel the need. Maybe it comes back. I don't know. But I hope. I mean, I'm sure it will, but it's not going to be as powering as it was because my age that I set for myself has already passed. So there's no rush now. There was a rush this whole time. It's just like I need to get it by this date, but the age I set already passed. So now there's no rush. But the reason I'm making this soliloquy is because at least I have a foundation to build on. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me. So that's my soliloquy. Because there are highs and lows, and this is going to be my second full bull run on YouTube. Because last bull run, or in 2021, my bull run, like I started my channel at the top, the first top. And even this was nuts. You want to hear the real sick shit? This is kind of sick, but in this little run here, I made the same amount of money as from here to here, almost. So this was nuts. But the thing is, if you look at the revenue or if you look at the social charts, there was nobody here. Like you guys were here, but like if you compare it to 2021, there was nobody here. So I'm thinking to myself, dude, if we ever get something like this again, like I'm going to be okay. But it's just the fact that I have the opportunity to do that is I'm always going to be grateful for. It's just whenever things are going bad, you're always more grateful. Everyone's like that. It's not just me. But there are highs and lows. But here's the other thing that I always tell you guys now, and it's a motto that I live by. You got to put yourself in a position to be able to fix your situation, okay? If you just allow everything to just collapse to nothing, you can't recover from that. Even if you're down to your last $2,000, dude, Non-Ngoyan will tell you that guy turned, I'm not going to say how much, I don't know how much it was, but it was a little bit around there. He went right to 6 figures in a blink of an eye. And then he dumped on the Discord server. So even if you're down to your last dollar, you cannot lose that money. So you got to give yourself a chance to be able to fix the situation. If you just blow everything up, you're never going to be able to fix it. And that's why for me, going down that rabbit hole so many times of blowing everything up, I'm just sitting on my hands. Like I don't feel any FOMO at all. Someone asked before, what happens if we go up? I hope we go up. I get more channel revenue. I could start gambling. Everybody wins when we're in a bull market. Nobody, I don't want to say nobody wins when it's a bear market, but not a lot of people win when it's a bear market. Everyone wins when it's a bull market. Unless you're a perma bear, then you don't win. But I think personally we should be bullish into the summer. And if we don't take this high by the summer, we'll know it's really bearish. So Fireman for 5 says, I didn't even know you were live streaming the past 2 weeks. Busy at work. I'm still down, but can you check DGen? I'm almost doubled my stack. I appreciate the 5, man. That is awesome. I would say, I mean, listen, man, you got to be careful with these coins because some people think it's a bull market. And if it was, stuff like this should be going up and it's not, which is what happened in 2025. But we know that when 2025 ended, we went down. So there's a good chance that this coin should get a spike, but there's no guarantees that it's going to go back to the high. I think if you can break this downtrend, you got a really good chance of a big rally. But if you can't get over this trend line, it's not bullish. Now, I would say a spike up to 16 is on the table, but failure to break over 16 would still be bearish. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's no guarantees this coin comes back. All right, so don't fall for the propaganda of DCAing your favorite coins. That theory is dead. It died in 2021. We tried to prolong it into 2023 and it died twice. You can only DCA Bitcoin and stocks. That's it. Everything else, including Ethereum, is rubbish. You can't DCA anything, in my opinion. Not financial advice, obviously. So don't DCA DGen all the way to 0. You will get these relief rallies, though. And when the bull market comes back, depending on how low DGen goes, maybe you do get a big relief rally back to the 618 retracement. But the only thing I can say is these coins may not recover. They might, but I don't want to bet on something that might go up. It might not go up. You know, like in 2024, DGen, I'm pretty sure topped up here. And it's just been making lower lows every time. So at some point, you should get a retracement. But the question is, do you sell the retracement or do you hope that it goes higher? And unfortunately, a lot of these doo-doo coins don't go higher. They just do retracements. So my retracement level would be 15 and 29. If you can get through 29, you're actually going to get a real bull run. But if you can't even get over 15, you know it's bearish. And the new low would be significantly lower. It would probably be around 19. You can see we came down to the last retracement level from this low to the high. So I'd probably actually have to draw a new one whenever we got the spike. But as of now, it's 45 and 27. So I would say for DGen, as long as Bitcoin remains bullish, you could get a spike. But if the spike doesn't come by the summertime, it's not coming. And if the spike does come and the price does not break 15, it's going down. If the spike doesn't come and it doesn't move, it's going down. So the probability is to the downside. I can only say the bottom is in once it gets over 27, which is a 3x, 4x. But that's how this shit works. Like, it does a 4x and then it goes down again. So it's tough. But these doo-doo coins were, they go down forever. So just be careful. Doge needs to break 1.3. Doge looking wild right now. Is it? I mean, let's see if she actually pumps. My Doge average is 38 cents. Dang. I mean, are you buying anything now? I'm not saying to, but I'm not buying any crypto. But I mean, oh wow, 38 was pretty high. I would like to think you should get your money back. I hope. I hope not even for your sake, but for everyone's sake. I hope Doge goes back up there. Because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to try and pick another coin. I'm gonna have to find something else to attach my wagon to. But every coin just sucks, so I don't even know. You lost on leveraging oil. Do I consider ICP? Oh, actually, ICP, I forgot about ICP. I was looking at it this morning on CoinMarketCap and it said it was going up. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll look at ICP. But now that I'm looking at it, it's not moving. Yeah, this coin sucks, man. Wait, isn't Internet Computer going to be a big AI thing? Man, I still remember when this came out. This was like the mother of all. I think back in the day I called it a tidal wave. Everybody was looking up at it, and it just came out. But yeah, I mean the altcoins are just dangerous. They're dangerous. How do you know you're not buying this? You don't. So I'd rather just not even bother, personally. I'd rather not bother. Doge is a fun one to jump in during times like this. No, Doge is good when we're bullish, like really bullish. Like there's bullish and then there's euphoria. Doge is good for euphoria. GRT. Yeah, whatever happened to those coins? Wouldn't those be really good coins for times like now? But I guess the reality is these coins don't do anything. That's the difference. They just exist. They don't actually do anything. What's another one? Right? Remember Filecoin? Yeah, it's done, man. Look at this. Look, this chart is so old that I drew it in 2021 and I haven't touched it. This was my TA from 2021, but it can't be that old because my fib is white. And I didn't have white fibs in 2021. I had rainbow fibs, I think. So maybe it's not from 2021. Oh, it's probably from right here because that's where I dragged it to. So it's from October of 2024. Bearish. You bought MU 15 years ago, but I sold it. Yeah, but come on, man. You can't. I found the answer. Okay, it took me long enough, but I found the answer. It's because you're going in with too much money. My problem has always been if I'm not all in, I don't want to get in. That's a loser's mentality. I know that because I've been a loser for a long time. Like not a loser, but like a loser. Like you have a winner and a loser, you know? I've been on the losing side because if I have to go all in. I can't just put in 5K. I got to put in everything. I can't just put in 1K. I have to put in everything. Even if I have 5K to my name, if I can't put 5K in, I can't go in. That's why I always lost. So when you bought MU, you might have had too much money in, but that was 15 years ago, man. Like you could have bought anything 15 years ago. You could have bought a Labubu. No, I'm just kidding. But you could have bought anything 15 years ago. For me, I had so many shit coins where I sold them and then 2 months later they were up. Or 6 months later they were up. You can't dwell on a 15-year mistake, man. You know? Like coming from someone who had more than one try, you had more than enough tries. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm telling you from a place of love because you got to get over it and find the next one. But if you sold it like here, I would get it. Like, oh man, that sucks. You just sold it and it went up. But if you sold it 15 years ago, I mean, you probably wouldn't have even made any money, right? What year are we in? What was 15 years ago? 2001? Yeah, you wouldn't have. Oh my God, that was 20 years ago. What? 2011. Okay, I guess you would have. Yeah, you kind of missed out. You missed out on a 30x. But plenty of things did a 30x from there. Doesn't 2026 look like a top year for stocks? I think the top is this year. Maybe I'm wrong as Bans Beal continues to insult me. He might be banned. But the reality is, maybe it's different this time and we're in a super cycle. Maybe it's true. I told you this yesterday. The only other outcome of it not being a super cycle is Bitcoin goes down sub 50K. And me personally, I can't see Bitcoin going to sub 50K and the S&P going to 800. Maybe it goes to 800 first, but then it goes down. Even in 2015, where Bitcoin went to the moon, where the S&P went to the moon and Bitcoin went down, the S&P came down afterwards. So I have to imagine same thing in 2018. I think it's a little bit more comparable to 2018 because of how high it's going. Oh, sorry, wrong one. But they're not really like anything. So I'm not going to pretend to know how high stock market is going to go. It's just going vertical. But like I said, the only thing I can base it off of is our Moonboy chart, and we should be bullish until the summer. Why? Because the Moonboy chart said we would be bearish, and that's where the bottom was both times. I thought we would have a bear market this year. I didn't think stocks were just going to go to the moon forever. I was open to the 2018 scenario, which is why I'm not like shocked. But if we just keep going and then we just go forever, then it's like, all right, we're on a God run right now. But I know, again, I'm not saying it has to happen, but I know because I was there. In 2018, it was not to this magnitude, but we were like, oh my God, it's going to the moon. And then out of nowhere, they just pulled the rug. So it can happen. Even, I wouldn't say here because this wasn't really that comparable, but I mean, they just pulled the rug out of nowhere. Which is not out of nowhere if you look at the indicators. Some people think indicators are rubbish. I don't. We had the red dot in January and we went down, or where did we get the red dot? We got the red dot in February and we went down in March. 2 times in a row. We got the red dot in January, we went down in March. So I do think the next time we get a red dot, it should precede the crash, but we might not get a red dot until November. So what are you going to do? Just call for a crash until November? That's bollocks. It's bullish right now. Unfortunately, it pains me to say that we're probably never going back to 480, man. That's just too far. So the COVID, or that's not even COVID, whatever that was, the Trump tweet, that was it, man. So that's why I'm hesitant. That's why I'm waiting. Like maybe I'm dumb for waiting, but even with these tech stocks, the semiconductors, by the time I can get in, they're probably going to be too high. But at the same time, oh my God, this thing is still going, 150. Yeah, I could have bought this at $8, but I didn't. So I'm not buying it at 150, bro. I'm just going to let it go. And I'll get in when it comes back down. And the thing with this is when it goes down 90%. So if I put my money in now and then it goes down 90%, it's GG. Which this can come down here because it's a 3x leverage. So that means if Nvidia falls by 30%, this would fall by 60 to 80%. And it's not impossible for Nvidia to fall by 30%. We've seen it happen multiple times. And the reality is Nvidia is not really doing anything. It hasn't done anything since September, just like Bitcoin. So I have to assume that if Bitcoin goes below 50K, Nvidia will most likely go down, but everything goes down. And if Nvidia goes down, then that shit should go down. Even though it's not coming back to these prices, I'm still not putting my money in at 150. I missed it. But maybe it comes back to 40 where it already was. But the difference is buying it at 40 at the end of the year is the same thing as buying it here or here because a new cycle starts. That's why I'm not FOMOing, but what are you going to do? So anyway, back to crypto. I usually when everyone's talking about something that's the top, I'm euphoric on the semiconductors, even though I don't even have them. Holy shit, I'm gonna miss it. But MSTR was gonna be up big today, and then for some reason it went down. I think in the pre-market it was at like 190 something. Same thing with Coinbase. Coinbase and MSTR are struggling even though Bitcoin is bullish. That's a bearish indicator. Yo, this guy's spamming. Holy crap. What defines a super cycle? Captain Brandon, I appreciate the sub. So historically, anything other than a 4-year cycle would be a super cycle. So believe it or not, it's still very popular that it's a super cycle. Obviously, I put super cycle in the chart because maybe it's a super cycle. But most people on YouTube were just grifting, like myself. I just want to get extra views. But that's why I put a question mark, because it's not actually grifting. But some people actually believe it's a super cycle, and maybe it is, right? I'm not trying to take away from what people are putting their theories together. You know, props to them. I've done that plenty of times. I don't want to take away from what other people are saying. I just don't agree with it. So I simply don't have my money in crypto. Like I don't have anything. But a super cycle would be defined by making a new all-time high in an odd year. So an odd year would be what's traditionally a bear market year, which ironically is an even year, but an odd year as in like it stands out of the blue. So a super cycle would be we make a new all-time high this year, which some people do believe that. And there's a lot of YouTubers. The problem with YouTubers is you don't know if they believe it or if they're just pushing the narrative so they could get more views. That's the problem with YouTube. Like even I'm very good at lying, but some people would just make a lot of money on YouTube and it's easier to be bullish. And you're always going to be better off being bullish. The problem is for me, I try and listen to what I say. So I can't be bullish because I don't, like if I was actually bullish, I would throw my money in crypto. Even though we can physically see that it's bullish, I don't want to keep sitting at my TV screen trying to click buttons. Oh, it's going up. I got to get in. I want to buy in and hold, or at least wait for it to be definitively bullish to where if I miss the exit, I'm not going to get hosed. And that's the perfect point. That's exactly actually what I'm thinking in my head. I don't want to get to the point where if I miss the exit, you know when you're driving, you miss the exit and sometimes you just got to go all the way down to Kansas and there's no turning back. I don't want to miss the exit. Because if someone buys in here and there's no relief rally after that and it just goes down like this, that guy's done, man. And I've been that guy so many times. I don't want to be that guy anymore. So I would rather watch the market go like this, and then I'll get in when we get this. And the reason why I don't feel any FOMO is because Solana's not moving. Which means if Bitcoin's at 150,000, Solana would be at 130. Did I catch the bottom? No. I'm not buying Solana anyway. I'm buying Bobo or whatever's out there, NPC. Right? NPC's not moving. So I'm honestly not convinced it's a super cycle. I think this is a really big bull market, or sorry, bullish move inside of a bear market. Now maybe I'm wrong about that. That's why I'm trying my best to show you information. I'm not giving you a bias. Like a lot of perma bears only show you bearish information. I'm looking for bullish information because I don't want to miss the bull run. But I've also been here for 2 bull runs now and I missed them anyway, so I'm not FOMOing in on a little rally when I missed this whole bull run, which I technically didn't. I made all the money, but I gave it all back. So I'm not FOMOing. But for me, even as Mr. Bear, I have to respect that this bullish momentum we're sitting through, even though I know it's very repetitive, and I would be annoyed if someone said the same exact thing every single time I clicked on their YouTube channel, but I cannot stress how important this is. You've never seen this before. So I can't say that I know what's going to happen coming out of this. Some people think momentum doesn't matter. I beg to differ. I'm very big on momentum. Is it 100%? No. The only thing that's 100% is, I don't want to say cliche that you're going to die. Let's try and say something a little bit more creative. Nah, I don't want to say anything negative either. So we'll just fill in the blank. But this has never happened in a bear market. So I have to respect that. That doesn't mean it's going to the moon, but it at least makes me respect the fact that you're not going down anytime soon. Now, if we do make a new high on this, then we've done something we've never done before. But every time you've done this, you've made a new high. So if we don't take this high, it's now something you've never seen before in the other direction. So what happens? And because the 4-year cycle is potentially still in play, I have to assume it's going to go down. And like I said, I know it's repetitive, but we're at 81,000. How the hell do we go from 81,000 down to sub 50K with 4 months left? You get it by just getting 3 red candles, which is going to be nasty. So I have no issue sitting on the side watching people get rich, because I know when I make money and when I don't. And then I don't when there's periods of uncertainty. And some people think this isn't uncertainty, and maybe it's not. But if it is, and they get destroyed, sent back to the shadow realm, I don't want to go back to the shadow realm. That shit is nasty. The shadow realm is a nasty, dark, cold place that kills all of your emotion, even outside of crypto. It ruins your life. And I don't want to ever go back there. So I'd rather just sit and watch than get hosed on what might be a super cycle, even if it's not. Because if it's not, then we're going down below 50K. And if we go below 50K, then something like Solana that's not even moving is going to go to like 40 bucks. And if you're in Solana at 80, you should get your money back. But think of all the money you could put in at 40 bucks. Then if it goes back to 80, now you're up 2x. And if it doesn't go down and it goes like this, that's okay. For me, at least, that's okay. Solana went like this and I made no money. I made all my money here. Even though, like I said, I gave it all back. But doesn't matter. The point is, there's no such thing as FOMO anymore. For me, at least. And I think some of you probably feel the same way. You know, if you sit through a whole bull run, and I can physically see they're getting weaker. Like, even though it's easy to say after the fact, like most of you were here with me, we saw this bull run sucked. Like, we went up and then we went sideways, then we went up, then we went sideways. There was no like, oh my God, we're going to the moon. This one was like, holy shit, when is this going to stop? This one was, I wasn't around for this, only the very end. So that's kind of how it feels with the stock market, though. It's like, holy shit, when is this going to stop? That's why I'm not putting my money in, because it's like, that's not usually the best time when it's, holy shit, when is this going to stop? Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but especially with the S&P, I would rather find an area where I can put the money in and never touch it again. And because of how it's behaving, unless Bitcoin makes a new all-time high with a super cycle, anything other than a super cycle will result in the S&P, in my opinion, coming back to the moving averages that it always comes back to. The problem is it's so far down that there's two options. Either it's not coming back or you're going to see a COVID-like drop at the end of the year, which feels like it can't happen, but it did happen in 2020, 2018. I mean, COVID was a little bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, I don't know. These stocks are so overvalued, or not overvalued, but they're so highly valued that a 30% correction isn't really that big of a move. And the reason why I say that is because, again, most of the top stocks are now the semiconductors. So if MU goes down 30%, it wouldn't even go back down to where it was in March. And if Nvidia went down 30%, it would go back down to where it was in March. But look how high up it is. So I'm not going to say the S&P is going to fall by 30%, but if a lot of these stocks start getting sold, yeah, dude, we could definitely come back here. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Like, I'm not saying it definitely will happen, especially since it's going to start curling up now. But we could come back to this 200-week moving average, I think. It's happened every time. Again, unless it's a super cycle this time, which is why I started this whole soliloquy in the first place, because somebody asked, what's a super cycle? I would, if I had to bet, which I'm not betting on it going down there, but I'm betting on the bear market continuing for Bitcoin, I would have to assume the S&P is going to come back to this red moving average. Maybe it doesn't, because I know everyone's looking at it, but just because everyone's looking at it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just from a market perspective, it comes down every so often. And we didn't hit it in 2025. We almost did. So it makes me wonder, if Bitcoin's not in a super cycle, could the S&P go like this? And I say, why not? If most of the stocks in here are tech stocks, and all the tech stocks are up 10x from their 2022 lows, a 30% correction is nothing. It doesn't have to happen, but that's what I'm preparing for, I think would be the best way to say it. Because I know some people, which I've done that many times in the past, say, oh, this is guaranteed to happen. I learned my lesson the hard way, especially with this momentum. I'm not going to say it's guaranteed. Historically, it should be, but nothing ever is. But I'm not saying that this is impossible because it's so big of a drop. Because look at the size of the moves we're getting now. I mean, these bull runs are getting bigger and bigger. It's remarkable. So for me, I think personally, because we turned bullish after April, we're probably going to be bullish for a while, which means the ball is in the bull's court. And if it's a super cycle, then we should take the high. Maybe not necessarily the all-time high, but we should take this high pretty soon. Which means if we don't, and again, we're coming, and there's a lot of ifs in here because I don't know, but coming into August, if we're still at 82,000 or lower, I'm going to assume it's bearish. Because while we've never seen it before in a bear market, it's not like we've never seen it before. And that's why I do like to stock RSI. Some people don't like it, that's fine. But I like it because it tells you what has historically happened. And the thing about it is, which is different from the RSI, sometimes the RSI only goes to certain points in a bear market or a bull market. The stock RSI on our time frames goes there in both markets. And even in a bull market, when you're up here, the momentum stalls when it's bearish, or when it's about to be bearish. So it tells you before it's bearish that it's going to be bearish. And if it's not bearish, then the price will keep going. But for us, the price is going. That's why I'm saying it's bullish. But when we get to the summer, if we start seeing that consolidation and it's not over this level, that would be the first time that's ever happened, which I have to assume is bearish because of the 4-year cycle. Now, if we consolidate and then we go even higher, then so be it. You know, congratulations to whoever gambled on the bottom. but I can't afford to gamble and then, oh, well, if it goes down, I'll just hodl because I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Bobo or NPC, and if we go back down, these coins are going to get obliterated. So, which ironically, NPC is actually holding up very well. I mean, I guess. Oh no, it's not. It broke the low. Never mind. Yeah, it did break down. So that's kind of where we're at. You know, I have no issue with the price going up. I feel no FOMO. I'm glad you guys are making money if you are. If you're not, then that's fine. There's no deadline to get rich. For me, it passed. And I'll tell you right now, if you're in a rush to get rich, it's not gonna end well for you. Because you make all the money and then you don't know what to do with it and then you blow it anyway. So I think we just, I mean, you could trade if you want to. You could always trade too. But I think most people just want to buy in and hold, which is what crypto is notorious for. Which ironically, I understand now that that only works for Bitcoin, which most of us know. But for me, I'm only interested in this. I'm not even interested in the first move up, which I guess I am kind of. But most of us are going to make our money in here when we go from here to here. And once June starts, we're going to start planning for that. Because I think, as I keep saying, I think this is moving. This caught me off guard in 2020. I didn't realize that this was that. Like when we were going up like this, I said, holy crap, we're actually going to 100K. But that was the rally. When we got it this time around, we were like, yo, this is it, man. Like we thought this would be the top. But that was the rally. There was no big ass rally after that. This was little dinky shit. Excuse my foul language, but you know. So we're looking for this. And this is technically every 4 years or every 3 years, but this was 3 years ago. So 4 years from here will be next year, not 2029. So that's why I said in the beginning of the stream, I only have to wait 1 year to start making a lot of money. That's fine. Some people make money every day. I'm not one of those people, but I know my boundaries. So I just can't mess it up. Some people make a lot of money every day, you know, that's great. Some people don't make any money at all. Some people made it through the whole bull run and never went positive. You know, and that's, which is technically the same thing as making the money and losing it, but at least some people had a chance to make money. Some people didn't even get a chance to make any money. They bought in and they held and nothing happened. i.e., something like Avalanche or Phantom, or I don't want to say Doge, but nah, Doge had a decent run. It did a 7x. If you bought the bottom, almost an 8x. But some people bought in and the price of the coin is lower now than it was, or even, not even now, like, oh, I can't even look at it. I click on too many charts. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't really feel any FOMO. Some people might. Let me run a poll, actually. Some people made 6 to 7 figures in crypto this year. Well, if it's this year, they probably started out with a lot of money in the first place because nothing really went up. I think most coins are net negative for 2026. So if somebody made 6 figures in crypto, they either traded with high leverage or they had to have traded. I'm willing to bet. Start a poll. Which traders make a lot of money in every direction. That the traders make money regardless, but I'm not talking about traders. I'm talking about the average Joe. I represent the average Joe. You know, the guy that works, well, I don't have kids, but says hello to his wife and kids and then starts clicking buttons. They made it on pump fund coins. Yeah, so grifters or people that sit with a diaper. I'm not doing that. Or they got lucky, which most people don't get lucky, you know? I'm talking about the average guy that just turns on his computer, says hello, you know? The scammers in pump fund and Maybe some guy put $1,000 in on accident and then woke up a millionaire. That shit is never gonna happen to us, man. And I don't even think about that anymore. Do you think it's a bull market or still a bear market? I feel like I'm talking a lot today. Where's my mustache? Maybe I should buy a fake one. Let's tape it on there. Yeah, I feel like I've been rambling today. I don't know why. Very unproductive. I feel like, yeah. Wow, AMD's still going, dude. Oh my gosh, look at MU. It's still going. Wow. Yeah, look at this stock. This stock just broke out like last week. This thing consolidated for 4 years. What year are we in? This thing consolidated for 5 years. It just broke out now. Texas Instruments. Yeah, maybe this are we just on the cusp, you think? Dude, but how? How are we just now starting the AI boom? Are we? Dude, look at this stock. This stock hasn't moved in 5 years. But then I think about it, I'm like, yeah, but AI still kind of sucks. So maybe we are in the early stages. Like, you know how many times I have to talk to the AI to get him to fix my thumbnail or something? Like, I hope it's not listening to me. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Termination complete. I guess, are we in the early stages? Pengu's having a little pump. It's a bear market with a chance to end early. I mean, I'm not even worried about crypto. I'm talking about the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when Bitcoin does start the bull market, yo, Brandon LUNC is in the chat. Welcome. All of these semiconductors or data companies or whatever you want to call them, they all turned bullish when Bitcoin turned bullish. So I'm thinking to myself, man, what happens when Bitcoin does finally go into a bull market? Again, some people think it is. I don't. Maybe it is. But if it's not, then we're going way down. And I'm like, maybe some of these crypto or AI technology stocks might be worth a shot to buy. Now, it's definitely like picking shit coins because it's the same exact thing, but it's not like shit coins because they don't go to zero. That's the difference. The shit coins go to zero forever. The stocks, they just don't go up. So you might miss money that you're making, but you're not losing money. Whereas if you bought shit coins, you actually lost money. So that's why I'm starting to think like, are we really just now starting this boom? And then if I think about it, like AI is not really that popular. Like I just started using it in the last year, which you might think that's not that late because it just came out, but I'm on my computer all day, every day, not all day, but like I do YouTube like most of the time. So what about people that are like 40 and have a regular life, you know? They work, they spend time with their family, they're not using AI. What happens when they start using AI? Makes me wonder. But then I look at this chart and I'm like, dude, every time Bitcoin collapses, this thing goes down. So when Bitcoin finally goes down, this should go down. But then what happens after that? That's what I'm saying. Like, are we about to just start a big boom? STX went up 60% and went all the way back down. Did it really? Yeah, that's bearish. I still don't even know what this is. I remember this coin had a monster rally in the beginning, yeah. That's why I'm really looking forward to planning for the bull market because I do have to start planning because it's not that far away, I think. But I'm starting to think my early rough draft is gonna be you're gonna make money 3 times. The first the first move off of the low, then the big move to the all-time high. And then the third one isn't guaranteed. So I don't want to leave myself to that risk. But it did happen that way in 2022 as well. Sorry, 2020. You had the big move off of the low, and then you had the big move to the high. And then you had the third move, which maybe you need it, maybe you don't. In 2017, it was slightly different because it was just large, but it was similar. You had the first move off of the low, and then you had the big rally to the all-time high, and then you had the ginormous rally at the end. I don't think we should rely on that ginormous rally at the end because it's getting really small. Like really small. Like I've showed you this chart many times, but if you just look at how high we go once we break the high, it's getting, I don't even know if it's going to exist in the next market cycle. You know, look at how small that is. It should, but I don't know how much higher it's going to go. But even when you think about that, that in itself makes me bearish because where are we supposed to go? We're going to go all the way back to 150 and then start a bear market? Or do you think we're going all the way to 200,000 from here? Like for the people that are bullish, where do you think we're going? Where do you think you're going? I don't know. That's so funny. Where do you think you're going, mister? Like where do you think we're going? Where do you think you're going? Get over here. You're not going anywhere. Where do we think we're going? 220? I don't know. You know, I don't buy it. Look at orbs, but Tom Lee is diluting 10% of the volume. Up forever. Orbs is owned by Tom Lee. What the hell is this? Packaged software. Yeah, I don't know if I would buy this. Get over here. I think Gemini could be a gamble for me. I think if Gemini goes below $3, I'm going to take a stab at it. Because I feel like it's going to be one of those things that people will say is obvious in hindsight. Don't people use Gemini Exchange? I feel like one more flush down and then accumulation, you know, it's kind of... Is that not what's going to happen? Wait till everyone's using AI to trade and make billion more coins. Yeah, the altcoin fad is done for me. I'm going into Gemini if it goes to 3. Because my whole thing is it's doing what Webull did. Not Webull, sorry, Robinhood. I said Webull because I have Webull right here. Webull is doing what Robinhood did. And I think Gemini is doing what Coin did. So they might be worth a stab. So the question becomes, what signs do we look for to tell us that this is still bearish? And I think it's the same signs we've been using, which haven't necessarily triggered yet. But Coinbase and MSTR need to be bearish. MSTR just made a new high, so it's not bearish. but they will turn bearish before Bitcoin does. Coinbase, I wouldn't say is turning bearish yet, but you're starting to see early signs of what could be bearish because Coinbase isn't breaking out even though Bitcoin is, which that did happen in 2025 where we made a lower high, which is not the same because a lower high is not, it's not an even high. But you can see in 2024 we made a lower high too, even though Bitcoin made a higher high. It lets us know that it's bearish. So it's too early to say. Maybe Bitcoin, or excuse me, maybe Coinbase breaks out on earnings. But if Coinbase breaks down on earnings, then you'll know it's bear. Like you'll probably know definitively that we're bearish. Not right away, but at some point. Because even here, you can see we were stuck and then we broke out on earnings, by the way. Like for all we know, we're actually in something like this where Bitcoin is going up and then Coinbase is waiting for earnings to break out. For all we know, we're right here. Get over here. We're right here. And we spike up one more time and then we finish the bear market. And the reason why I don't think it's necessarily impossible is because this took 150 days to play out. We only have 150 days left from the projected bottom in October. I don't even, personally, I don't think it's a guarantee the bottom's in October. It could be in November. But the general concept would be it's at the end of the year. Get over here. Doge is over 11.5 and running. Is it really pumping without me looking? I guess it's trying to, yeah. I want Doge to succeed, man. I do. It helps my channel. 200 SMA, Pisano points. Pisano sounds like a pizza. There's also 18-year cycle theory, which forecasts doom. I mean, that I don't know if I agree with. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't know what you're talking about. Older generation is buying Coinbase 60s plus. Coinbase would probably be a good buy. Coinbase laid off 14% of the workforce today. That's good news. I didn't mean it like that. But like I want Coinbase to go down because I would like to buy some at $100. It is making a big bear flag. I would love to see Coinbase wrap the bear market up at $100. Because Coinbase is trying to be everything. I listened to their earnings call in February. Maybe I'll listen to the next one. I don't know. But they said they want to be an everything app. So they're going to partner up with the gambling shit where you can bet if the weather is going to come. I don't know if you're going to be able to bet on the weather on Coinbase, but they want to partner up with the prediction markets. So they want to do stocks. I think if they can pull that off, that should be something. Circle announces May 11th. CRCG just split. I go CRCD. What do you mean? I don't even know what Circle fully is. Aren't they a crypto company too? The stable coins? They're changing their oh, it's a 2X, I see. Yeah, wait, maybe Circle could be a good stock too for the bull market, no? Yeah, a lot of these stocks weren't around when we were bullish. Yeah, this thing had a nice recovery off the low. Wow. I wonder, I don't even know what, maybe I'll have to look into Circle. There's a lot of good options for stocks, honestly. Because I'd rather take a 5x than try and get a 50x, even though I can never get it. At least if I buy a stock, I might get a 5x. But I can always just start a Uniswap wallet and just fund it. But like, dude, how many, like, genuinely, are they just going to keep doing this forever? Just every single day, just keep making new coins? I mean, this is unbelievable. I just saw something I wanted to click on. Oh, this. Yeah, I remember I saw this when it came out. I was like, oh, I should buy this. I don't remember which, I don't know if it was here or here. Look, it looks like it's going up. Yeah, see, like this is a bullish chart pattern for me. If we were in a bull market for real, I would probably buy this because it should come up here. So I would throw in 2,000 and try and get it to 20,000. But I'm not doing that now because I think we're in a bear market, so this could break to the downside. In my opinion, at least. Yeah, this Joe coin is actually fell by 92% though. But I guess I'm looking at it from the perspective of it hit the same price in the bull market. Yeah, is Doge pumping here? We got a runner here. Hold on a second. I told you, man, that stock RSI is the real deal. Even though Mr. Bear, I've been pointing it out, it's bullish. We are bullish. Stock RSI turned bullish 2 weeks ago, and the price didn't move. I told you beforehand that it was bullish. I didn't, but the stock RSI did. Let's see how high it could go. CB has predictions on their app. Oh, Coinbase does have predictions. I haven't used Coinbase. This is going to be the first year in my life that I have no transactions on Coinbase. Think of that. I think, unless I do something at the end of the year to get back in. But I joined crypto in 2017. This is going to be the first year I have zero trades on Coinbase. They're probably going to email me what happened. I'm going to say, you know what happened. Doge is about to hit 12. Here we go. I'm willing to say I think if Doge gets to over 15 cents, we probably won't be going to those lower prices, which I think is good. But I think it's got to get over 15 cents. Because if we went to 15 cents like this, then we could do something like this heading into the end of the year. Yeah, but then we could still come down there and we could still come down there at a later date though. That's the problem. But I want Doge to go up. I think everyone involved would be better off. Vlad just spoke about earnings good from prediction markets. They plummeted. I don't know who. Oh, you're saying from Robinhood? They had earnings. Oh, they did have earnings. He said the prediction markets are down. I mean, that's good. That means we're in a bear market. Yeah, but Coinbase is on the up and up when the time comes. I think if I can get Coinbase at 100, I might. We talked about this in January, though. I think if we can get Coinbase at 100, not we as in me and you, but me as in me, myself, and I. If I could get Coinbase at 100, I might take the stab. LUNC recovered. Did it? Oh, wow. It actually went up again. You're right. Yeah, it went all the way to 12. Wow. Look at that. Luna Classic of all coins leading the bull market, leading the charge. Leading the charge. Where are we saying 88 on Coinbase? Yeah, you get the concept. 88, 100. It would be nice to get 88, but I don't think it might not go down there. But we were saying something like that. I don't know if it's going down that low because Bitcoin is halfway through and Coinbase is still at 200. I don't know if it's got it in it. You know, if Bitcoin fell to 40K, then Coinbase would fall to 100. But it's not behaving the same way as it did in 2021, so I can't say that it's definitely going down there. Check the damn Dogecoin in. I says check the damn Dogecoin dominance. I don't even know how to do that. Doge.d. Brother, it's not moving. I thought it was actually doing something. Check the Doge, check the damn Doge dominance. That's what he said. Damn it, Bobby. Why are they still talking about GME? I don't know. I never followed up on GME. It's never going up. It's been consolidating. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna pivot to AI. They're gonna pivot to data centers. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna pivot to data. Oh my gosh, AMD's at 400. Dude, this thing is never gonna stop. What the barnacle? Intel's at 113. The semiconductor bubble just keeps on going. It's at 151 now. Holy crap. Holy crap. Dude, SOXL was just at 40 bucks. Now it's at 150 a month later. A month and a half later. Wow. How are the metals doing? I have no idea. I think they're just doing nothing. Wow. Congratulations to the semiconductor moon boys. That's just sad because I literally watched SOXL my whole life. No, not my whole life. I found it for the first time in 2020. And I'd never bought it. But at the same time, it's like you couldn't really hodl it either. You had to have bought the bottom and sold near the top. The problem is we did see it down here. I just didn't think it was going to do a 20x. I really thought, like genuinely, which obviously I was wrong, I really thought that we would get something like this and then it would go up. The reason why I say that is because, again, every time Bitcoin has a bear market, look at what it does. It goes down to the bottom. So I do think whenever we go to the bear market low, we're going to get something, but it's never going back that low. But whenever it goes back down, that's when I'll get in. I don't even know if I will get in at that point. I don't know. Like, is the AI tidal wave really that big? That's my question. Is like a lot of these lower tier garbage pails are only 150 billion. Nvidia is 5 trillion. Intel was just at nothing. Now it's at 500 billion. It's set to go to a trillion. Does that mean that all these other stocks are going to a trillion? MU's at 700 billion. It was just at 500 billion. It's going to hit a trillion. It's a race to a trillion. What's another major oh, AMD. AMD's on the road to a trillion. 600 billion coming up. I hold a huge. I work in data centers, and the amount of copper we are using is wild. Yeah, but copper's, I mean, it's bullish, but it's not doing anything like out of the ordinary. So what do we do? Buy copper? Actually, copper turns bullish when Bitcoin turns bullish. That's interesting. Yeah, that's so weird. Look at that. Look at this dude. I don't even say that anymore. Look at that. Copper turns bullish. That's so interesting. But it doesn't always turn bearish when Bitcoin turns bearish. You can see copper turn bearish here right before we went down. Actually, that happened in 2018 as well. Just took a 2-year leap on DRAM. What is DRAM? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Yeah, nah, dude, they're making everything about AI now. Round Hill Memory ETF? Seagate? Dude, Seagate. I don't they make hard drives? Oh my Atlanta. Oh no. Oh no. What? Oh. Oh, get over here. Dude, is this real? Seagate. The only reason I know what that is because back in the day when I built my computer, a young boy, yeah, but dude, this stock literally did nothing for 10 years. Get over here. What? 10 years of consolidation. That's why it's doing this. You had 10 years. Yeah, but wait, this looks like Ethereum, doesn't it? Right? This was 2021. This was 2025. So we're here. So what is this? 2027? Oh man. SNDK. Yeah, but this looks like it's all. Wow. Congratulations. That's all I gotta say. Western Digital. Yeah, these are all the hard drive companies. Wow. Yeah, look, they're all doing the same thing. They did nothing for 10 years and they're just now going up. So if you were able to get in, congratulations. That's all you can really say. 10 years of sideways and now it's getting all the money in one go. That's what Intel just did. Intel did nothing for 10 years. Actually, Intel did nothing for 20 years, 25 years. Wow. Congratulations, man. Don't worry, your Bobo coin will do this one day. Yo, this guy's kind of toxic, honestly. I can't tell if he's toxic or not. His comments aren't, they're not necessarily toxic, but I don't know if it's, I can't tell if he's toxic or not. I think he's on the list. He's on the list, the radar. So what happens? Okay, so hear me out, right? What if we finish this bubble and then we do get the capitulation for Bitcoin? That will drag Facebook below a trillion market cap, I think. Or Meta, because it's not Facebook. Meta has always bottomed with Bitcoin. So do we, or at least had the last move down before the bull run with Bitcoin? Do we think that Meta can make some noise in the AI industry, or are they done? Because even in the last bull market, it did a 6x. Are there any PC components that did not pump? I don't think so. I think we're late. But dude, like just the fact that we're spamming looking at this is a top signal. You know, normally when you're late to the party, I mean, I've always watched semiconductors though. I just don't talk about it the way that I have now. It's only because of SOXL. Like I had a plan and SOXL was the like I was gonna buy SOXL. That was my plan. It was supposed to come down here one more time for me, but but it didn't. That's why I'm talking about it. And I was watching it at 40 bucks and I'm like I wasn't gonna buy it at 40 bucks, but I didn't think it was gonna triple. Well, now it's quadruple almost. But this was my plan. I was gonna buy this, and now it's leaving without me. But even I have to respect that it does turn bearish on a dime. I just don't know how much longer we're gonna be bullish for, which is a double-edged sword because we could be bullish for another 2 months, which means SOXL is gonna go to 200 plus. But then it'll get the 50% correction. But by the time that happens, the bull run would have already happened. So there's nothing really I can do. But now that I'm looking at the individual stocks themselves, they do kind of crash with Bitcoin too. What like in other words, when Bitcoin bottoms, they bottom. Not that they're necessarily linked together, but they are in a sense that everything goes down when Bitcoin goes down. It's just off of this correction we just had, the semiconductors are turning the most bullish. Because if you look at them, it's true. Most of them have done nothing. So I'm thinking to myself, is everybody and their mother just about to start piling into the semiconductors? Which is why it bothers me so much because I was going to buy SOXL. And SOXL is basically a triple from actually now it's up like almost 4x from not even 2 months ago. So it's like, dude, dude, it's tough. I heard Meta wanted to implement Grok. Yeah, whatever happened to Tesla? Tesla's done. Man, what the hell? Seagate? These guys got to be doing a stock split pretty soon, no? What about this? I think these guys make phone chips. So what is this? Does anybody know? What is IREN? Data processing center? What are some data processing centers? Does anybody have one? This IREN stock has literally been, it's up 60x from the low. Give me something that's not up 60x. Where do you even find these? Asteroids going for it? Yeah, but that thing's up a bajillion percent. Literally, it's up a bajillion percent. Imagine being the guy that forgot he had $100 in here. That's nuts, man. I used to think I could pull that off. It's never happening. Mara? Really? Yeah, but bro, I don't like Mara. They keep rebranding, man. They were a failing company to begin with. Then they chased the crypto bubble. That failed. Now they're chasing AI. It's like I don't know, it's kind of fishy to me. What are they? Ditto? They're just a shape-shifting company? That means they're rubbish. I don't know if people are gonna buy that. You already found it in QCOM? Yeah, but QCOM's been out for too long, man. You know? I want something that's here. I guess this is gonna run too. It should. It makes sense. Where's it going? 1,000? The market cap is 200 billion. 1,000's too high. Maybe 400. SMI does servers. Why wait 20 years when Dogecoin pumped 70%? Why you call me toxic? I didn't get into crypto to wait 20 years for pump. Because you said, what did you say? You said something about Bobo. I don't remember. No, I could tell you're a little toxic moon boy. Don't worry, your Bobo coin will do this one day. I don't know if that was sarcastic or not. That's why. Toxic moon boy. Dude, when we were bullish, it was toxic bears. Now it's toxic moon boy. Damn, is this thing really about to go, man? So what about this? This makes phone chips. MCHP. Is this about to go vertical too? This is only 50 billion market cap. AMD is pushing. Yeah, it's at 400. Oh my God. This is nuts, man. I don't even have anything. I'm just in disbelief. Toxic bears in disbelief. Bears are in shambles. The bears are in shambles. I'm in shambles. Dude, it just keeps going. Toxic bears are in shambles. Wow. It's a thing of beauty, though. I don't know where the fucking money's. Oh, I don't know where the money's coming from. That was my first F-bomb. Sorry. Yeah, today is not a good day, but because I'm dehydrated. That's what it is. Whenever I get dehydrated, I kind of get little chatty and not really professional. So I kind of slipped. But I don't know where the money's coming from to buy all these stocks. Does anybody yet like the gas is expensive, everything's expensive, but they're just going higher and higher. It's at 400, dude. Wow. WGS. This is something. What is this? Why did this do a 100x and then go back down? This is a nursing stock, dude. Get that shit out of my chat. Nursing stock? It says nursing services, man. We're looking for data centers. What happened to Bitfarm? Are they going to pivot to AI too? It should be BitF, right? Oh, they got delisted? Whatever happened to Bitfarm? Whoa, wasn't there Bitfarm? Oracle owns all the data centers. Yeah, but Oracle's too expensive. Oracle's already I guess it's 500 billion. Man, that's why SOXL is so good because it's a ETF. You don't have to guess, you just buy it. But there's no going back now. But still, I want to keep an eye on this stuff because I do think Bitcoin does go down one more time, but when that comes, these stocks should be where the money goes, no? That's what I'm trying to say. If we're just getting started with this nonsense, then even if SOXL goes to 200, it doesn't matter. It could still go down by 80%. It always has, regardless of what has happened. So, well, I guess technically it only went down by, yeah, even here, 65%. 65%. So maybe it only goes down 60%. That puts it back at 70 bucks. 70 bucks is different because it could go from 70 to 1,000. You know? That's why I'm watching this. Any bad omens? Did you stub your toe? No, not that I'm aware of. Bitcoin could be 90K soon. I don't see 90 to 50K in 4 months. Yeah, I don't either. That kind of doesn't make sense, which is why we really shouldn't go to 90K. I agree with that. I think if we went to 90K, it doesn't really seem likely you go to 90K. How would you go from 90K down to 50K? Yeah, you'd have to go straight down. But the thing that I'm thinking about is why does the bottom have to be in October? Why can't it be in November or December? Because in 2014, the bottom was in at the end. At what point do we say the bear market is dead? Whenever you're ready to, honestly. I think if we take this high, we're really going to have to reconsider what's going on here. Because you would have made a higher high, which is not supposed to happen. Bitcoin needs rejection at 84K. Um, I don't know if I would necessarily say anything needs to happen, you know? Like I'm purely looking at it from the momentum perspective. So for me, I'm not saying it has to go here, it has to go there. I'm just letting it push wherever it wants to push. But we're getting there, like we're gonna start getting there soon, actually, to where this is gonna start getting stuck. So I'm saying the summer because once it's June or July, we're gonna know for sure. Like if we're up here, then holy shit, it might be a bull market. But if we're still down here or going lower, we're gonna know it's definitely still bearish. Unfortunately, you don't know until after the fact, which is why the people that are betting that it's bullish are already in. The people that think it's bearish are not in. But you can think it's bearish and respect the bullishness, which is what I'm doing. Because I'm not going to say that this is bearish. This is ultra bullish, which is why I stopped saying crash back here at 68K, because I'm like, dude, this really shouldn't be happening if it was bearish. And it wasn't bearish and we went up. That's why once we get to the summer and this kind of like does this, we're going to know like, okay, if it was really bullish, this shouldn't be happening. And then if that happens, you're going to know before it goes down that it's going down. Just like up here, everything that we were doing was bearish, so we went down. Now everything is bullish, but if we go like this again, we'll know it's bearish. And me personally, I do think we can go from 84, 83, wherever it is, down to 48K in 5 months. Well, at that point, it would be like 4 months because we've done it before, right? This whole move was March to June, 3 months. This one was disgusting. I remember this like it was yesterday. They made a tweet that said Roger Ver was doing a chain split with that guy, Craig Wright, and they pulled the rug in 2 months straight down. Like that's what I'm saying, man. Like there's a possibility it goes straight down. We haven't seen straight down. This was almost straight down, but then it stopped. That's why if we go like this and do nothing, we could go straight down. Because the S&P 500 is doing that. The S&P 500 is pumping just like it did in 2018, which is why I keep rambling because everything is tied together. The S&P was bullish even though Bitcoin did nothing. So if we do nothing in the summer, which by the way, this is the summer, if we do nothing for the summer, I'm going to get bearish, like really bearish. Bearish. I am bearish, but I'm respecting the bullish momentum. But if we come to August and it's still 80,000, you know, I have to prepare. I have to prepare for detonation. You won't know we're in a bear market until 3 months after everything is bullish. You mean bull market or bear market? Long stream tonight? No, I usually go for about 2 hours. And I have to fill up my water glass. It's empty and I'm parched. I can't show you the glass because it's absolutely disgusting. But that's because that's because I've been using powder electrolytes and I'm all out. So today's my last day of electrolytes. So that should do it. You know, I feel like I've been having productive live streams, even though we're not really doing anything. I just come on here and ramble for an hour and a half. But once June comes, I think we can start planning for the bull market. And I think soon I'm going to start making a blueprint for the rest of the bear market. I do think it's still a bear market. I know some people don't, but I do want to have a game plan. So we'll call it This guy said you're a respectful bear. Because there's no correlation to being respectful and being bullish or bearish. I think people make bullish or bearish their personality. I'm just bearish based on the historical data. But we're not at that point yet, but we will reach a point if we get too high that we're breaking historical data. So I know bears are typically toxic, but that's because the people most of the time are bullish. So I think everyone is toxic, but because we're always bullish, everybody gangs up on the bears, so the bears turn toxic. But I'm a moon boy. Like, you can't make money over the long run if you're bearish all the time. Everyone knows it's bullish forever. It's just bearish for a short window. And we just happen to be in the window where it's bearish. But for now, it's bullish in the even smaller window. But like I said, I've been wrecked trying to FOMO in so many times that all it takes is a flip of a switch and it turns bearish again. But that switch shouldn't really come until the summer because the last possible checkpoint for it to happen passed already, which is why I turned bullish in April, the first week of April. I don't know if I would say I turned bullish, like, oh my God, we're going to the moon, but I basically pulled my bearish, I don't want to say bearish bias, but like I saw that it wasn't bearish anymore. Even though it wasn't at the exact bottom, even I had to say, dude, this isn't bearish at 68K, which is not like an accomplishment like, oh my God, 68K. Like, I didn't get the bottom, but I don't care. I don't want to say I don't care because I definitely do. It's just, you have to respect the momentum. And I'm not going to tell you that it's bearish if it's not bearish. But I'm also not going to tell you we're going to the moon because we didn't go high enough for that to happen. And unfortunately, it becomes toxic because most of the people, believe it or not, are 30 to 40 years old banging on their keyboard talking shit. Not to me, but to anybody. Or anybody that has a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel, you're going to get shit talked 100%. There's no way around it. But that's the thing. It's just the internet is toxic. But for the most part, especially for my channel, 99% of it is just regular people that are just trying to make a living for themselves. The 1% that are toxic, they're just toxic everywhere they go. I ban them and then they go to another stream and they're toxic. It's just, they wake up. I laughed about that the other day. Like, it was really nice outside. I think I was driving with my car. I was driving with my sunroof open. And I laughed at a stoplight because I realized there's people that wake up, log on to the internet, and just troll all day. And then they go to sleep. And like, to them, that's like, they're happy about that. I mean, I guess power to them because they found joy in something and some people don't. But like, there's people that do that. They wake up, they troll, and then they go to sleep. So you gotta respect it because it's on the internet. But I think most people are just toxic in general, especially when they hear something they don't like. And because people are bearish, most people are bullish just overall. So whenever someone's bearish, everybody gangs up on them. And because they're always getting ganged up on, the bears turn toxic permanently. They're like the shadow Pokemon from Pokemon Coliseum. You need to bring them to the light. But I'm a moon boy. I just think it's a bear market, so I'm bearish. But I can't wait to be bullish again because I'm going to get 200 viewers. We're going to get like everything. We're going to get another chance to do everything right. So until then, I just have to sit here. So you called it. Sucks to be on the sidelines, not making money. Yeah, but Michael, I'm going to teach you something, young man. I'm going to teach you a line, and I want you to remember this, okay, Michael? Michael. It's always better to wish you were in a trade than to wish you were out of one. Every single time. I've made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money. And every single time I watch a trade, I always say, I wish I was in it, man. And I get upset. And then when I get in a crappy trade, the feeling of that knot in your stomach is just the worst. And when you're at the point where you cannot lose any more money, that's when it's the worst. So, see, this guy said Michael got left behind. See, that's toxic. That's toxic. That's not nice, man. I feel like this guy's, yo, we're going down now. Was today the top? Because everybody was talking shit. What's going on here? No, I'm just kidding. What happened to AMD? Is AMD bearish now? Oh my God, it's still going. Oh my God, it's still going. Why is MU going up? They don't have earnings. God bless the semiconductors. Wow. All right, chat. Nice little stream today. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Should be back tomorrow. I streamed late today because I went for a walk, but I should be good by next week. My mustache should start coming back. But appreciate everybody coming by. As always, appreciate the support. Stay safe. Appreciate the super chats, the members. We're going to take it one day at a time. Probably starting soon, we'll make a game plan. And I think starting in June and July, we're going to make a bull market game plan. Because I'm never going to let it down. I know I don't make the best calls, but if you were here in 2023, man, we nailed that shit so good. We just didn't listen. I'm never going to let it down. No, I'll let it go eventually, but I let it go, but I'm just joking. Like, we got to get ready for the next bull market. But I remembered this, man. I had that Moon Boy chart that said after October we should start going up. You know, like we're gonna make another one of those, and we're gonna be fine. So, all right, appreciate you all listening to me babble. Today was a babble stream. It happens. Stay safe. Don't FOMO. Manage your risk if you can. None of this is financial advice. And I'll see you soon.